So the dog does its thing and it gets over the hydrant, or it doesn't. So what we want to do is move on. So if the dog makes it over the hydrant X number of times, we want the game to move to something else. So for that to happen, we'll probably have to keep track. So let's say, for example, the dog makes it over the hydrant 5 times. So we'll keep track of that. Let's have a new variable called jumps, which we'll keep track of. I'm leaving these switched on. You can turn them off here when you don't need them, but they're handy when you're developing to keep an eye on what's going on. So we can since the dog's the main actor here, we'll set the jumps to 0, and even though we're setting the jump to 0 here, and it's a variable for all sprites, in effect we're going to keep track over here of what's actually going on. So for this particular activity, it doesn't really matter where you set the jump to 0, as long as it's when you click a green flag. Over here we're going to change the jump by 1 if he makes it each time, so we're going to keep track of it each time, and so each time the dog succeeds, it'll change the jump by 1. However, having said that, we need to also check at some point if the dog made it. So in here we've got the touching, and then here we're going to do the jumping. So let's say we set the jump to the jump is 5. We want a few things to happen, so we're going to have another broadcast. Just a minute. Let's have a broadcast called jumps. Okay, and I'll probably be faster to duplicate this, and jumps. So for the moment we stop. Over here we stop as well. We won't do anything to the dog though, and same story here, and same story there. So if we get to 5, we'll see what happens. Now we need to go back and just check the logic of this loop, because it starts at 0 and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just check to see if that makes sense or not, or whether we should in fact do the jump change somewhere else, or set the initial value to something else. So let's just run it and see how we go. I've got to get over this thing 5 times for it to work. 1, 2, 3. Keep trying. 1, 2, 3. Wow, it's working anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it stopped. Okay, so at that moment in time we're going to move on to the next part. What happens next?